Have you ever found yourself in a line, waiting only to realize you don't know what you're waiting for? You just saw other people standing there, and you took a place behind them. It felt like the right thing to do. Or perhaps you've been in a room where someone tells a joke. A few people laugh, then a few more, and soon you're laughing too. A moment before you even get the punchline. The sound of the group's laughter pulled your own laughter out of you. These moments are small. They don't seem to mean much, but they point to a deep and sometimes unsettling question. How can a person who is careful, kind, and intelligent on their own become part of something thoughtless or even destructive when they join a crowd? It's a strange kind of math where adding smart people together can result in a dumb decision. The individual mind, with all its questions and hesitations, seems to quiet down. Something else takes over. This is not a story about other people. It's not about angry riots in history books or strange fads in faraway places. It is about a hidden switch inside all of us. Understanding this switch is more important now than ever. We live in a world of online crowds, of viral movements, of instant agreement and instant rage. Our phone screen can feel like a town square, full of cheering and shouting. To understand why we join in, we have to look closely at what happens to us when we stop being just me and become part of we. The first thing that happens in a crowd is that you begin to disappear. Not your body, but your sense of self. Psychologists have a name for this. They call it Deindividuation. It's a long word for a simple feeling. It is the feeling of losing your specific individual identity and melting into the group. It is like putting on a mask at a party. Behind the mask, you are no longer just you with your name, your job, and your worries. You are the party goer, a part of the celebration. The same thing happens in a crowd. You are no longer one person. You are a fan in a stadium, a protester in a march, a face in a sea of faces. This feeling of being anonymous is powerful. It quiets the little voice in your head that normally guides your actions. That voice is the one that worries about what people will think. It reminds you of your own rules, your own sense of right and wrong. But in a crowd, that voice gets harder to hear. The roar of the group is much louder. This is why people will do things in a crowd they would never do alone. A quiet man might scream at a referee during a soccer match. A polite person might leave a cruel comment online, hidden by a username that isn't their own. The mask of the group gives them permission. It removes the feeling of personal responsibility. If everyone is doing it, the thinking goes, then it cannot be entirely my fault. The action belongs to the crowd, not to the individual. Think about the difference between a conversation with one person and being in a huge concert audience. In the conversation, every word is yours. You are accountable for what you say. At the concert, you might sing along, off-key, and at the top of your lungs. You don't worry if you sound good. You are just one voice among thousands. You are free from the normal pressure of being judged. This release can feel good. It can feel like a weight has been lifted. You are part of something bigger than yourself. And in that moment, your personal worries and rules seem to fade away. This fading of the self has serious results. When our sense of personal responsibility goes down, our willingness to act on impulse goes up. The normal guardrails of our behavior start to come down. A crowd does not think, it feels. It feels anger or joy or fear, and these feelings can spread like fire, moving from person to person without any check from rational thought. This is where group behavior can turn foolish or even dangerous. Consider a viral internet challenge. One person does something risky on camera, it gets shared. Soon, hundreds, then thousands of people are copying it. A smart individual might look at the act and see the danger. But when it becomes a trend, it feels different. It feels like a shared activity. The focus is on joining in, on being part of the event. The risk seems smaller because the responsibility for the decision feels shared among millions of people. The group energy creates a bubble where normal caution is suspended. This can also lead to much darker outcomes. Mobs that cause damage or hurt people are often made of individuals who, on their own, would never break a window or throw a stone. But inside the mob, they are swept up in the collective emotion. The adrenaline, the noise, the feeling of power in numbers, all of it works to shut down the part of the brain that says, "Stop! This is wrong. This is not who I am." We should ask ourselves a difficult question. Is there a part of us that finds this attractive? The burden of being me is heavy. Every day we have to make choices. take responsibility, and live with our mistakes. The constant self-monitoring can be exhausting. Joining a powerful group can feel like a vacation from that burden. For a little while, you can stop thinking for yourself and just move with the tide. You can let go of your anxieties and let the group's certainty carry you. This can feel like a kind of liberation. It is the freedom from the difficult job of being an individual. But the price of this freedom can be very high. It might cost us our own judgment, our own kindness, and our own sense of right and wrong. Losing ourselves in the crowd is only the first step. The next step is letting the crowd guide our actions. This often happens because of a simple mental shortcut. Our brains are built to save energy. We cannot possibly check every piece of information ourselves, so we often look to others for clues about what to do. This is usually a smart strategy. If you see people running out of a building, it's a good idea to run too. You assume they know something you don't, like maybe there's a fire. This is called an information cascade. It starts when a few people act and others follow, assuming the first few people had good information. Then more people follow them, and soon you have a cascade, a waterfall of people all doing the same thing. The problem is that the cascade can start from a mistake. Maybe the first two people running out of the building were just late for a bus. But by the time the 100th person joins in, the running itself has become the reason to run. The panic has created its own reality. We see this happening all the time in the modern world. Think of the stock market. A rumor can spread online that a company is in trouble. A few people sell their stock. Others see the price dip and sell theirs too, assuming the first sellers knew something. Soon, a full-blown panic is underway, and the company's value plummets, all because of a cascade that may have started with bad information. The same thing happens with restaurant reviews or new movies. A few early negative reviews can create a cascade of bad opinions. People who haven't even eaten at the restaurant or seen the movie start to repeat the negative sentiment. They assume the early crowd was right. It becomes accepted wisdom that the place is bad, whether it's true or not. We trust the actions of the group more than we trust our own potential judgment. It feels safer to go along with the crowd's decision. This shortcut saves us the work of thinking for ourselves, but it also makes us very easy to lead. We can be pulled along by a current of opinion without ever stopping to check where it started. But we don't just follow the crowd because we think it has better information. We also follow because we are terrified of what will happen if we don't. Humans are social creatures. Our brains are wired to seek belonging. For our ancient ancestors, being cast out of the tribe was a death sentence. An individual alone could not survive the dangers of the world. So we developed a deep, powerful need to fit in. That need is still with us today. This fear of being left out is a powerful force that can make us go against our own eyes and our own reason. There was a famous experiment where a person was put in a room with a group of actors. They were all shown a simple picture with several lines of different lengths and asked to say which line was the longest. The actors were all instructed to give the same, obviously wrong answer. The real participant would often start to squirm. They could see the correct answer clearly, but the pressure of being the only one with a different opinion was immense. A surprising number of people would eventually give in and agree with the group's wrong answer. The pain of social rejection is real. It can feel more threatening than being wrong. We don't want to be the only one not clapping, the only one not laughing, the only one not angry. There is a deep discomfort in standing still when everyone else is running. So we run along, not because we are scared of the fire, but because we are scared of being left behind. This desire to conform is what holds societies together. It is what allows us to cooperate and build things. But it has a dark side. It can make us silent when we should speak up. It can make us agree to ideas that we feel in our hearts are mistaken. We might see a friend being shamed online and feel that it's unfair, but the cascade of negative comments is overwhelming. The fear of becoming a target ourselves if we speak out can be paralyzing. So we stay quiet. We let the current pull the group along because the safety of the shore feels too far away, and the fear of swimming against the tide is too great. When a crowd forms, it is not led by the person with the most thoughtful ideas. It is led by the person who can offer the simplest and most confident message. A French writer named Gustave Le Bon studied crowds over 100 years ago. He saw that they do not respond to logic or careful arguments. A crowd is not a debating club. It is a wave of emotion, and it responds to simple, powerful triggers. In the middle of a noisy, excited group, there is no time for, on the one hand, on the other hand. Nuance is the first thing to get lost. Complicated ideas require slow, quiet thought, and a crowd has neither. The voice that cuts through the noise is the one that is bold, assertive, and repeats a simple idea over and over again. This is the megaphone effect. The loudest, simplest message gets amplified until it drowns out everything else. The loudest voice is not always the one with the most volume. It is the message that is the easiest to grasp and repeat. Think about advertising. The most successful ads don't present a detailed analysis of their product. They use a catchy jingle or a short, memorable slogan. This slogan might not mean very much if you analyze it, but it is easy to remember, and it connects the product to a simple, positive feeling. We see the same thing in politics. Complicated issues with long histories are often boiled down into simple, 3- or 4-word chants. These slogans are not meant to explain. They are meant to unite and energize. They create a feeling of shared purpose and a clear sense of us versus them. For a person caught up in the energy of the group, chanting the slogan feels good. It reinforces their belonging. They don't have to wrestle with the messy details of the problem. They have been given a simple, satisfying answer. The megaphone has told them what to think. In the past, the megaphone might have been a single leader shouting from a stage. Today, the megaphone is in our pocket. Modern technology, especially social media, has created the most powerful system for amplifying simple messages ever known. The algorithms that decide what we see online are not designed to show us the truth. They are designed to keep us engaged, and what keeps us engaged are strong emotions. These platforms learn what we like, what we agree with, and what makes us angry. Then they show us more of that. If you click on a post that expresses a certain viewpoint, the system will show you 10 more posts with the same viewpoint. This creates what we call an echo chamber. You are in a room where you only hear your own opinions echoed back to you, over and over again. Over time, this has a powerful effect on our thinking. The simple message that was once just one idea among many starts to sound like the only possible truth. The echo chamber makes it seem like everyone agrees. Different opinions don't just seem wrong, they start to disappear completely. They are not part of the conversation. When you are inside the echo chamber, the loud, simple message is all you can hear. It feels like common sense. This is deeply dangerous for our ability to think for ourselves. If we are never exposed to different ideas, our own beliefs are never challenged. They become hard and brittle. We lose the ability to understand people who think differently. We see them not as people with other opinions, but as outsiders who are simply wrong or bad. We should ask ourselves, how often do I seek out ideas that make me uncomfortable? When was the last time I had a real conversation with someone I strongly disagreed with? If the answer is not very often, then we might be living inside an echo chamber. We might be listening to a megaphone without even realizing it. So, we have seen the 3 powerful forces that can turn a smart individual into a thoughtless member of a mob. First, there is the mask of the crowd. It offers us the comfort of anonymity, hiding our individual self and lowering our sense of responsibility. We feel free to act on impulse because we feel like no one is watching the real us. Second, there is the current of the group. This is the pull to follow the actions of others, driven by 2 things. We assume the crowd knows best, so we follow its lead to save ourselves the trouble of thinking. And we are terrified of being left alone, so we conform to the group's behavior to ensure we still belong. Third, there is the megaphone. This is the power of the simple, confident message that drowns out all complexity and doubt. In the noise of a crowd and in the echo chambers of our modern world, this loud voice can easily be mistaken for the voice of truth. It is important to remember that these are not flaws that exist only in other people. These are not diseases that infect weak-minded individuals. They are features of human psychology. They are vulnerabilities that exist in all of us. The person who gets swept up in a moment of group madness is not some monster. They are a human being whose internal defenses were overwhelmed. Recognizing that these forces live inside of us is the first, most important step toward not being controlled by them. We cannot fight an enemy we do not see, especially when that enemy is part of our own nature. What can we do? The answer is not to become a hermit, to avoid all groups, or to distrust all people. We need groups to survive, to celebrate, and to build a better world. The solution is not to get rid of crowds, but to learn how to be in a crowd without being consumed by it. The greatest tool we have to achieve this is simple. It is the power of the pause. These forces all work by creating a sense of urgency. They demand that we act now, that we join now, that we agree now. The pause is a circuit breaker. It creates a small space between the feeling and the action. It is in that space that our individual mind can come back online. When you feel the pull to join an online mob that is shaming someone, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, do I have all the facts? What is the feeling this post is trying to create in me? Is it anger? Is it righteousness? Is it fear? When you feel the urge to share a shocking headline or a viral video, pause. Ask, where did this come from? Who benefits from me sharing this? Am I sharing it because I have carefully considered it? Or because it feels good to be part of the wave? When you find yourself in a group where everyone agrees on something, pause. Ask, is there another way to look at this? What would a person who disagrees with us say? Seek out that other opinion, not to argue with it, but simply to listen to it. This is not easy. It requires effort. It can feel uncomfortable. The urge to just go along with the group is powerful, but the pause is how we find ourselves again. The goal is not to become a hero who stands alone against the mob. It is something quieter, but perhaps even more important. It is to be a person who, in the middle of all the noise, can still hear the sound of their own voice.